For joining and welcome to this virtual open house for our Masters in Curriculum and Instruction in TESOL, pre-K-12 to adult non-licensure program. So this evening, you will meet the faculty leaders, at least me and one other person, just her picture. I'll tell you a little bit about her. We're going to talk about our program, share some details of it and how it all works, introduce you to the faculty, at least by their pictures, so you know who are the core faculty who planned and created this program. And then as a special treat tonight, we have two current students in the program, one who's going to graduate this semester and one who is about midway through, Christina and Fatima, who are going to share a little bit about their experience and positive outcomes or aspects of the program from their perspective. We have a quote to share with you, and then we will share how to apply to the program, and then we'll have a Q&A, okay? Okay, next slide, Miriam, please. Okay, so I am Dr. Kathy Ramos. There you see me with short hair, and now post-COVID, for the first time in a long time, I have longer hair. I'm an associate professor in the School of Education, full-time faculty member at Mason in the Teaching Culturally, Linguistically Diverse and Exceptional Learners, otherwise known as TCL DEL program. I came to Mason in 2016, and this is my 10th year as a teacher educator, or 11th year, but my 31st year as an educator, as I began my career as a middle school Spanish teacher for 10 years, followed by 10 years of ESOL instruction, secondary ESOL teacher. The other program leader who is actually teaching a class tonight and couldn't join us is Dr. Joan Kang Shin. She's a professor of education. She's also the division director of APTE, Advanced Professional Development in International Education. She's the co-academic program coordinator of TCL DEL. Okay, so I'm going to stick on this slide for a little while so I can just share a bit about our program and what makes it unique. Okay, so I'm just going to start by saying that Mason itself is a very unique university in that it's the most diverse and largest university in Virginia. It is also a designated Research One institute, which it earned about 5 years ago, and it's not something that is automatic or that you get to keep as a university. You have to be rated through a rigorous process to maintain an R1 university status, but it does mean for graduate students that they are receiving their graduate degree from a very high caliber, high quality university that has does a significant amount of research in many fields and is renowned for that. And so it is a stepping stone if people aspire to move past their master's work, having done your master's work at a university such as Mason is always a good choice, as it is a Research One university. This program, the TESOL concentration PK-12 to adult, is a program that is fully online. The courses are 8 weeks in length, and so you get to dedicate your time to one course at a time. You would take, typically, sometimes people vary from this, but typically to finish in 5 semesters, including the summer, you would take 2 8-week courses, one after the other. So 2 in each semester, 1 in the first half of the semester, followed by the next one in the second half of the semester. Okay, moving around the calendar, you can finish your master's degree in 5 semesters. So if you started in the fall, you have 2 courses in the fall, 2 in the spring, 2 in the summer, 2 in the fall, and the next spring, then you have your final 2 courses and are finished. We put a great deal of time and thinking and creativity into the design of this program 3 years ago. This is our third year. We began in spring 2020 was the launch of this program. And we're very proud of the courses that we have created, along with instructional designers who have supported us as content area experts and as faculty with online teaching expertise. In fact, several of our faculty have won Mason Teaching Awards, university-wide awards for their expertise in online teaching. And so we have carefully designed it so that it's innovative and engaging and kind of reflects the multiliteracies and multimodal practices that we want you to use as instructors, as TESOL professionals in whatever context you teach. And in whatever context you teach, I think a principal idea in this program is that you gain the expertise to design and deliver engaging, culturally and linguistically responsive and sustaining instruction. Okay, so to just say a little bit about that, another central belief is the idea that bilingual and multilingual learners bring many strengths to the table, and that we as TESOL professionals have to recognize, value, invite their cultural and linguistic strengths, their identities into the classroom as learning resources, as valuable learning resources that makes instruction richer and that makes learning English, and also in some cases, depending on the context you teach, advancing their first language and literacy development along with English. So we're going to hear a little bit more about the learning about that, and maybe some takeaways from the program from our students who will be sharing. Okay, as I said, it is beneficial we know that there are many options out there. Some may be a little bit more affordable than this program, although this is an affordable master's program, I believe, for the quality and the caliber of the program that you will receive. We are also currently the only accredited TESOL accredited program in the state of Virginia, and we have high rankings in U.S. News and World Report. Mason's programs, online teacher education programs, this one and many others have a great reputation. Okay, so when you choose us, you're in good hands, and you can count on us to be partners in learning with you. You will find that the instructors in the courses are engaged in the courses. They're present in the courses, sharing also their thinking and experiences. And I know sometimes people are a little hesitant, can be, about asynchronous instruction, but we have worked hard to build a community of learners and a community of practice with other students and with your instructors as well. Okay, Miriam, let's go on to the next slide, please. Okay. Okay, so as I said, we have designed the courses to be innovative and creative and interactive. So this is just a snapshot from one course. I believe this is from the Foundations in Language and Literacy course, which is one that Dr. Shin designed. And so she actually based one of the activities on an experience that she had as an Asian American who was going to school with her nephew on kind of like a family literacy night, and her mom came too. Her mom speaks Korean, and her mom was so excited to read this folktale both in Korean and English. And at the kind of last minute, when the event came, the ESOL teacher felt that because I believe it was a grandma who died in the little Korean folktale that they were reading, she felt that it was not appropriate, that it was a little violent for the audience. And so she created an activity to, kind of think about that with some reflection and considering what could be the reasons that the ESOL teacher had that particular stance, because there could be reasons why she felt like that. or why perhaps her stance was something that could be rethought, or just how all of the people in that scenario felt and how they might approach that scenario differently if they had a little more knowledge about culture and language and the invitation to bring other cultures into the classroom. Another activity is a choice board, where, for example, you would have an opportunity to choose the kind of representation of your own understanding that you would want to make. And so that is not just true in this course, Foundations of Language and Literacy, but in all of the courses. We have tried to incorporate many different modalities for learning, including videos and webinars and podcasts and things of that nature, slide decks and some things for you to consider, along with the readings that you would do, okay? So we'll be straightforward to tell you that this is a master's program from a reputable university, so it is a rigorous program. It is not something to enter into lightly. The assignments in the courses are performance-based assessments that are based on your work with multilingual learners in any setting that you choose across the lifespan, okay? So you will have engaging content and options in how to represent your understanding, along with reading graduate textbooks and sharing graduate presentations and papers, okay? All right, Miriam, let's go to the next slide, just so everybody can get a quick glance at the 10 courses. So it's a 30-credit master's program, and as I said, you take typically 2 per semester. In that way, you do finish in 5 semesters, including the summer. If you don't take 2, you may delay yourself a little bit, having to wait until that class is offered again, okay? Currently, we have a fall start and a spring start, not a summer start, okay? So we have courses through the summer, fall, spring, summer, fall, spring, or if you start in the spring, you would then go spring, summer, fall, spring, summer. So you would have courses in 2 summers if you're a spring start, and in 1 summer if you are a fall start, okay? So here you can see the names of the courses that really include all of the current theoretical and practical knowledge, up-to-date research-based learning and practice that you would want to have in earning a TESOL master's, okay? Every course includes fieldwork. We don't place you. Many of our students, I do want to emphasize this point, many of our students are already practicing educators, whether that is in a PK-12 context or whether it is in an adult teaching context with adult learners, okay? We have people who work in adult immigrant and refugee education. We have students who are instructors at community colleges, and we have students who are also instructors in PK-12 schools. And we have those who are aspiring to enter those fields, okay? But it is important to know that if you want to be, and you are not yet a licensed teacher, and you want to be a licensed teacher, PK-12, who can teach in a public school in Virginia or another state, you would need to enter a licensure program, okay? This is not a licensure program. I also want to point out that we have many students in Virginia and in other states who already are teachers who want to add on the TESOL endorsement through taking the Praxis test, okay? In many states, including Virginia, you can add on the TESOL endorsement by taking the Praxis test if you already have a teaching license. So you are well prepared to do that. And it doesn't mean that you're electing to be an TESOL teacher. We have had several content area teachers from Virginia and other states who simply want to do justice by the multilingual learners who are in their classrooms, okay? But the important thing is that the fieldwork is very flexible. It is connected to the performance-based assessments in the course. So we know from our experience and research as teacher educators that it's imperative to have hands-on learning with multilingual learners, whether you already are an educator or whether you are aspiring to be an ESOL educator, whether in the United States or abroad. And we'll talk a little bit more about the kind of settings that this program can prepare you for, okay? Okay, Miriam, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, yes. So the beauty of this program is opposed to just a straight out licensure program, right, that has a student teaching experience and all of that. This program really is very flexible. It can be for those teachers who want to become ESOL teachers in the pre-K-12 setting. It can be for people who are not interested in working in the public school system, who are interested in working in private or international schools around the world, or for those who are interested in working in higher education and community college programs or in adult learning programs, even for governmental agencies or not NGOs, nonprofit organizations, private language institutes, corporate language training, programs for English for academic purposes, such as one that we have at Mason. So really it's a way to prepare yourself as a TESOL professional for working in many different contexts, okay? In each of the courses that I mentioned before, I do want to emphasize, because you might be thinking, well, that's a pretty big span, PK to adult, right? Each of the courses has content and resources that are kind of geared towards either the PK-12 world or the adult higher education or adult education world. Although many of the basic concepts, such as viewing multilingual learners from a strengths-based lens, from an asset-based lens, and appreciating their cultural and language identities and inviting them into the classroom space, that idea carries across all of the age groups. Okay, Miriam, thank you. Okay, so this is just a quick look at the faculty who designed this program. As I said 3 years ago, I already told you a little bit about Dr. Joan Kang Shin. My other colleague, Dr. April Maddox Foster, is an educator who has taught all over the world in many international schools. She has expertise in international baccalaureate education and elementary education. And my colleague, Dr. Sujin Kim, also we're all in TCL DEL. She is a scholar, an emerging scholar in translingual pedagogies and multiliteracies, work with multilingual learners, okay? And you can look all of us up on Mason's website if you like to learn a little bit more about the faculty. We also have a great number of wonderful adjunct faculty who have been working with us for a very long time, who also may be instructors in some of the courses. Okay. Okay, so now for the best part, I'd like to welcome our two student guests who are current students in this master's program, and I will just let them decide what they would like to share. So if you want to introduce yourself, and either one of you can start. I guess we'll start with you, Christina, since you're on the left, and we'll move that way to Fatima. And go ahead, Christina.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ramos. I am Christina Reenhoff, and it says there I've been an educator for 15 years. That's 15 years of lots of different types of teaching positions. I think I've taught everything from pre-K through community college at this point. And I got into this program because I really felt like I needed to do a better job in my practice of recognizing the strengths of language learners, and to just, in a content teacher's perspective, honor their work more strongly. And I actually got to speak with Dr. Shin in the beginning to see if this would be a good fit for me. And I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure I wanted to go into ESOL. And I've really found that this program is just really hit the mark. So anyway, that's my introduction.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to introduce yourself, Fatima?
Sure. Well, my name is Fatima, and I've been teaching ESL for almost 13 years now. I actually learned English as a foreign language, and I taught it for 8 years as a foreign language as well. Then I moved to the US, and then it's been almost 5 years that I've been teaching English as a second language. And the reason I chose the program was that my school actually has a lifetime learning policy, and I believe it was one of the wisest choices I've ever made because the program actually gives me the opportunity to delve deeper in the field, and it also gives me the opportunity to have better perspective and insight and see the world from my students' point of view. And it also learns me how to, it also teaches me how to appreciate their background knowledge, their identity, and sometimes something that I want to add is the support that we receive from the faculty, because sometimes it's just hard to juggle all the tasks at the same time, studying, working full-time. But it's the moment that I think that, okay, I might fall short, I cannot achieve all these, but that's the miraculous moment that we'll receive an email that the deadline is extended, or some tasks are just removed to focus on the major assignments. So I believe it's actually the best choice I've ever made. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Miriam, can we just go back 1 second? Because I'm not sure if either had anything else to say. I wasn't sure, Christina, if you were finished or you wanted to share something else.
I wasn't really sure how much you wanted us to go on, and I didn't want to take over for Fatima's time either.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can share a little bit more if you like. Maybe just some way that is, whatever you want to share. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. I love this program. And I am almost done, I have to say, and I'm really excited. One great thing about this program is that it is asynchronous. And I think for, those of us who are older and have a family and all the obligations that come with a family and then full-time work, I think Fatima talked about, like, there's a lot of consideration in that with the professors, and they are very personable. They understand that we all live very, very busy lives, and they are really excellent at connecting and listening. And if you've got just one of those weeks where everything's sort of coming at you at once, they are there to listen and to take that into consideration. That said, I mean, it is a top-notch research institution, and there's a lot of research to read, and that can be a little daunting, I think, in the beginning, but I have found that all the research is just very relevant, and they do a good job of putting in research that is, if you're working with younger students, or you're working sort of like where I work more like in secondary, or if you're working with adult learners, each of the courses is very good at sort of trying to put in research that is really relevant to those different field areas. So it makes it really worthwhile. So yeah, you're reading pages of research, but at the end of the day, you're really hearing from people who have spent a lot of time on those concepts and ideas, and they're peer reviewed. It's all top notch. So you don't feel like you're wasting your time just reading some dry research that doesn't really apply. There's application for it, and each module, so each course has modules, and they're all laid up so nice that it's really, I'm a type A person. And I appreciate how it starts the same pattern each time, and it really helps sort of help you organize your work, and what's sort of going to be required. There's always some sort of application that you're going to work with in that concept. And sometimes those are hard because you're not really fully sure of what you've felt is really what they want. But there's such a broad array of ideas that come from everybody, and those get discussed on the discussion boards, and so you really feel like a community of learners happening, and it strengthens your own ideas and broadens them. And so I could go on forever. So, and I don't want to take over everybody's time. So I'm happy to talk more if people have questions. Like I said, I'm secondary content mainstream classroom teacher who I don't even speak another language. I'm a monolingual who's just working in a multilingual world.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Christina, for sharing all of that. And I do want to see if Fatima has anything else she wants to share. So Fatima's in the other world, in adult education. She's a multilingual learner who knows 4 languages, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes. Yeah. The only thing that came to mind when Christina was mentioning different points is that we have this opportunity. I mean, the resources are all categorized in for adults and also for kids. So I really appreciate that opportunity that we have. We can choose between different resources, and also, as Christina was mentioning, that you never feel like you're wasting your time. I think we can just put everything into practice and apply it to our field that we are working in.
Thank you. Thank you both so much. Okay, Miriam, we can go to the next slide, which I think is just giving them an idea. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this one I love to share. This educator was in our first group that began in the spring of 2020. Or maybe it was 2021. And she is an educator in Hong Kong, 3rd and 4th grade teacher. And she sent me this email after the graduation to just share how much she also enjoyed the program. Okay, so soon we will pause and take some questions, but the admission process is pretty straightforward. You need to have an earned bachelor's degree and should have a minimum of 3.0 GPA. You need to upload your transcripts from your bachelor's degree, okay? If you're an international student, that can take a bit longer, so you want to leave yourself some time. You want to have an updated resume or CV, 2 letters of recommendation, and you will also be asked to write a short personal statement or goal statement about what your goals are for entering this master's program, and why you think that Mason would be a good fit for you, and why you think you would be a good fit in this master's program. Okay, there are people to support you as you apply. If you have questions, I will tell you that it does take some time. So our fall applications are open. I always think it's a good idea to begin sooner than later, especially as you may have to wait on letters of recommendation or transcript verification. All of those kinds of things take time. And once you are, your application is considered, when you are accepted, you receive a letter of acceptance, a welcome letter from Mason, and within that letter is an important link for you to declare your intent to enroll. So it's kind of like saying, yes, I accept my acceptance, okay? So that we know that you're going to enroll. And then when you do that, you receive your Mason email, and you have a G number, and you will be instructed on how to register for the fall classes, okay? And I think yes, there's the website there of support and also an email if you have some questions while you're doing your application. But I think now we can pause. And is there a question already in the chat, Miriam? That's just a message that your laptop froze up. Okay. If there are questions now, we're happy to take any questions that you might have. You can open your mic, or
sure.
you can put in the chat or use the Q&A. Or I think we do see one question in there.
One question just came in. It says, typically, what's the time commitment weekly?
Okay. So we like to base that on the idea that if you were in an in-person graduate program, you would spend 3 hours per week in the classroom, right? And then you would spend really what is typically 8 to 10 hours during the course of the week working on your graduate work. So that includes reading and doing assignments, preparing, your discussion board, doing any application activities. Another thing I wanted to mention is that in 8-week courses, we're careful to really chunk the major assignments into small pieces or to give you a timeline. Okay, so I see Christina nodding her head. It's really suggested to follow that timeline so that you don't have to do a big assignment in a crunch at the end. But maybe Christina or Fatima, you could say on a typical week, let's say it's not the week that a major assignment is due, about how much time you spend on reading or engaging with the other content resources beyond readings, preparing your discussion board, doing application activities, responding to your peers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what you've suggested is pretty spot on. And it really depends on what your life has set up, if you're working full time. I probably spend a lot of time on the weekend organizing for the coming week because I don't have as much time necessarily in the evening that I spend during the week. So I'd say I probably spend about 8 hours a week working. And sometimes that's in chunks on a Sunday and a Monday. And then sometimes, then normally, again, on a Thursday and a Friday. The timelines, as I was nodding, are really, really helpful. And the biggest suggestion I always make for anybody who's in the program as a new student is to really pay attention to those timelines. They really are set up for your success, and you won't be crazed when you do get to those larger assignments that are due and have to kind of do everything at once.
Thank you. Christina, Fatima, would you agree with that time frame?
Yeah, I would say the same here for me, but with the difference that I'm a very slow reader. So I usually spend like 2 hours a day reading and going through different resources. So let's say Monday through Thursday, and then I try to work on the assignments on Friday and Saturday. So yeah, like roughly 8 to 10 hours per week. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I see we have another question. This is from, I'm not sure if it's Callie or Kaylee, so forgive me if I'm not saying that right. That you work as a freelance ESL educator abroad. You travel to the US quite a bit. Is the field work flexible? Yes, it is. That's one of the beautiful aspects of this program because it's not licensure. You're not being placed by our teacher preparation education office, where you have to be in an accredited school in a certain number of hours and have somebody verifying those hours. It's very flexible. So as long as you locate your field experience and you're working with multilingual learners, I think that's actually kind of cool because from course to course, you may focus on different multilingual learners or even different context or age levels if you wish to do that. So in this program, yes, definitely there is flexibility to complete the fieldwork wherever you are located. Other questions that we can answer? Since we have a little bit of time, and I know I'm always a person who thinks of a question right afterwards that I wanted to know the answer to, so we'll just give it a moment. Maybe we did a great job between the three of us describing everything. Okay.
It says, I do not need licensure at this point in my career. However, can I complete the licensure at a different point in time?
Okay, so that is a very good question. Okay, and I'm going to say that if you think you're going to, you can, right? But you will find yourself kind of at the beginning. So these courses will not transfer into a licensure program. Licensure is very State Department of Education driven with very specific requirements. And so I think if you feel that you are going to want to teach in a public school with a license, it probably would be good to consider the licensure program, which is also a fully online program, but it has a different format of 15-week courses and a requirement for the student internship, which is a semester-long experience at the end, okay, as part of the Department of Education requirements.
And then we have another question. Do you have to live domestically to participate in the program?
Oh, no, absolutely not. So that's another beautiful aspect of this program. The quote that I shared with you, that student has been in Hong Kong for years. That's where she lives and works. We have had students who have lived in the Philippines, in Ecuador. I'm trying to think where other places are in Canada, and then in many states in the United States, but of course that's domestic. But yes, so because it's asynchronous, you are not required to be online live at any time, although you are welcome to make an appointment with the professor to meet by Zoom if there's something you want to discuss that maybe is hard to iron out on email. But you can work whenever you have time, okay? As Christina was saying. So I myself I love to work very, very early in the morning. Every morning, like all 7 days, that's just how I do it. I really like to work early in the morning and then, you know, maybe take a little break in the afternoon and do some more work after that. But it's flexible. You may be a night owl. I'm a person who rarely sees past 9:30 p.m. I don't work at that time of the night ever. But some people do. I see students turning things in at 11 p.m., 2 o'clock in the mornings. That people have different time clocks, right? But yeah, you can be anywhere in the world and participate in this program.
All righty.
Good question.
We've got another question. Do I need an admissions advisor to complete my application? And I guess I can answer that.
Okay.
Yes. So the way that the admissions side, I guess, works when it comes to applications is that we do maintain communication between the advisor and the student to ensure that the application is 100% ready to go to be reviewed. So we will not send through applications that are not 100% complete. So you do need to connect with an admissions advisor. You can call the phone number that's on the screen, and then you can connect with one to help you finish an application.
Yeah, and we've heard from several students how much they appreciated having that admissions advisor. So take advantage of it, and everything else that as a Mason student, you have access to all of the resources and become a Mason alumni who is connected to the university And as long as you keep up your Mason email to the databases and to your, hopefully to your colleagues, to your professors for years to come. Anything else coming to mind? Well then, Miriam, if other questions come up, is the online2@gmu.edu the place to ask those questions?
Absolutely. You can either send an email to us or call in.
Okay.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, everybody, and faculty and students. Thank you so much for attending our virtual open house. Dr. Ramos, did you have anything else to say?
No, I just want to thank the prospective students, interested applicants for attending, for taking their time, for considering Mason, and also a very, very special thank you to the two students, to Christina and Fatima, who joined us tonight, taking time after busy work days and lots of studying going on and major assignments being done to share with you. So it really deeply appreciated. Thanks so much.